your host, Danny Joseph.
Yo, I missed that intro. Like, I haven't heard that intro in so long. Like, it feels good. You know why? Because it's season 2. Everybody, y'all feeling good out there? Hey, calm down. We got special guests in the hands. It's season 2. We're about to kill this, man. I feel great. We got some great topics. We even got some guests. Games that we're gonna play. It's secret though until we get to it. We're gonna get to it. It's gonna be fun, but we're changing it up a little bit. Okay, we're actually doing a what in the world to start out. So season 2, we're gonna be doing it right. We're changing out the format, and I'm very excited. So we got a special guest real quick. So who we got in the special guest chair?
Special guest chair, the one and only. Nah, just a regular guy. What do you want? My Haitian name, or do you want the American?
I want people to know who you are, real you.
In the Haitian community, the real name is Peterson Janvier.
You know you ain't the one and only, because you know how many Petersons I know.
The crazy thing is, there's like 7 other Petersons in the city, but I'm Pete Janvier.
Janvier.
That means January. January. First of the month in French.
Pete January. You see that?
Yeah, if I was American, I'd be Peter January.
I like how you switched up your Peter completely.
January.
Well, complete
'Cause
180.
every Haitian has to add the sun to it. So
Facts.
Nah, man. Pete Javier. Man.
Actually, someone tweeted too. It was real funny. I'm gonna bring it up real quick. Mm-hmm. But someone tweeted, "Why do Haitians, when they use Junior, it's not because they're named after their father. No. It's just actually the name Junior." I thought about it. I said, "Yo, that's crazy." Because you know how many juniors I know whose real name is Junior.
Like not junior, senior.
I was like, I was low key hurt, but I was like, that's facts.
It's true.
Like, you can't really get around it.
Accept it as it is.
Exactly.
Man. Our creative box is only.
It's limited.
It's limited. Unfortunately. Yeah.
But we're moving straight into what in the world, man. I'm very excited. Let's get into these topics. What in the world? So to start out, man, this first topic we're going to talk about, man, in Dallas, there's a lot of buzz going on right now. There's a case right now. A man was shot in his home by a police officer who was actually off duty, I do believe. Mm-hmm. And it's spurring up a lot of conversation because, if I'm not mistaken, when I was reading up on it, that the police officer was charged with manslaughter and not murder. Uh-huh. And a lot of people don't understand the play on laws and the play on words with that, because you see manslaughter automatically, at least for myself, I thought manslaughter goes hand in hand with first degree murder. But manslaughter is actually if it was an accident, like it was things that led to a death, mm-hmm. as opposed to a first degree murder, mm-hmm. where it's just like the person had the intent to kill the other person, mm-hmm. which then, if you think about the case on hand, that changes everything. Because if you guys didn't know already about this case, the gentleman, his name was Botham Shem Jean, he was chilling in his house like any average American would be doing. Yes, sir. And a police officer mistakenly went into his apartment that she actually lives in, but I guess she had the wrong door. She went into this gentleman's home, mm-hmm. and she thought this gentleman was breaking into her home, so she brought up her firearm and killed this man, shot and killed this man. I think they tried to get him to the hospital, but he died.
They tried to revive him. What I read up on that one, condolences go out to the family. That's a tough one.
Definitely.
What I read up on that one, it's the manslaughter murder thing. To me, in my eyes, what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. That's murder.
Yes,
I mean,
I agree.
You know how to. You it's not your first day living in that apartment,
exactly.
So by now you should know where you live,
especially if it was upstairs.
Yeah,
I remember every step I take if I'm living upstairs. I dread every single step. Exactly, it's muscle memory. So you're gonna tell me you went up an extra flight of stairs?
But the same muscle memory is the same thing that she used when she was off duty.
Mm-hmm.
She used the same procedure. Lights was closed. End up killing the guy, put a bullet through the room, was giving out commands,
mm-hmm.
and you're telling me that someone's telling you wrong door, wrong place, that you don't hear that you just continue to go away.
And this gentleman, he was a part of his church.
He was a youth leader. He was one of the youth leaders in his church, so he partaked in his community as well.
So I doubt he was an aggressive person, But even in that situation, I could understand if he was aggressive. If someone just walked into your house unannounced, like you don't know this person, they have no attachment to you. I kind of have a couple questions. I don't know if you can answer it, but I don't know. Did she struggle with the door? Struggle with the lock? Did she say that she was able to like it was already unlocked? Because I always think I'm like, if you're struggling with your key and you're to the point where you're probably forcing yourself in, that should tell you something. And then if that person proceeds to tell you you're in the wrong home, something should click. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Maybe the door was unlocked, but even still, like you.
Even still, I'm with you. But with the training that she does, she's a police officer.
Exactly.
She knows how to break through those. So
you should be able to condone yourself.
After the commands that she gave, because it was said about from witnesses that there was a lot of yelling and hey, put your hands down and so.
Yeah.
So there was a list. There was a whole bunch of commands going on in there. I mean, honestly, if the door was unlocked and it was in the dark, I'm pretty sure light from the outside would shine in to let you know, hey,
something.
This isn't my house.
And at the same time, I will give her the benefit of the doubt, because we got to play a little devil's advocate. A lot of the times with apartment complexes, they have similar floor plans and the lighting and whatnot. It's normally the same way, but there's something in every apartment complex that just doesn't fit. Where you put your TV, where you align your couches, something.
There's even something. The odor.
Exactly, the odor.
The smell of your house.
That's what I'm saying. So it's to the point, there should have been enough triggers for her to know, okay, maybe this isn't my house. And I don't care how tired you are. When you get home, you're going to be alert, especially if this person is barging in your house. This person broke into your house. Whatever excuse people try to use to the point where she was fatigued from a long day, the adrenaline's gonna pump. It's gonna keep you up. That's how our adrenaline's built. So to the point that kind of destroys that notion of, or that excuse of, maybe she was too tired to realize. But are you ever too tired then to pull out your gun and shoot someone?
Are you too tired to break down the door?
Exactly. So it causes a lot of questions, but I think it's very interesting to the fact that, like, all this questioning about, oh, maybe this, maybe that, but when it comes to a flipped scenario, when it could be a white, person on the other end, or another person outside of the black community, would this have been as questioned? As opposed to, okay, this was murder, flat out. That's always an interesting. What's your take on that, at least?
Honestly, if you were to flip it around,
it probably wouldn't.
It wouldn't have gone that way. But one thing that strikes my mind is the question that you asked previously: what's making it manslaughter compared to murder? She didn't get arrested until the third day.
Exactly.
So
and that's crazy.
You sat there for 72 hours. Knowing you did something, knowing your coworkers know about it because it aired the news the same night.
Yep.
But there's been 72 hours. A lot can happen in 72 hours.
A lot of evidence can be tampered with.
Yes. I mean, I've read up articles that, she probably was on drugs.
Yeah.
You can flush your system out in a certain amount of days.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, and that's just giving her lawyer, that just gives her, her team more ammo to lead on to the manslaughter side.
That's crazy. That is crazy. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, that's just something that, because ideally someone comes in your house, does what they do, cause you bodily harm, someone loses their life, they're free to walk away.
Yeah.
It's the injustice that we're going through in America.
And it's a lack of empathy towards a certain community, because I don't want moving forward, I hate the notion of, like, I don't want to associate racism with white folks, because I feel like black people can be racist. I feel like Spanish people can be racist. I feel
everybody can be racist.
Exactly.
The crazy thing is, I was listening to a podcast when I was at work today, and there's this Chinese lady that's talking. It's like, why do Chinese people stick together? Why do they have the same nail shops in certain areas, same liquor stores, same this? Yeah. Why do they get in the air? How many other minorities do you see with a different group of minorities?
Yeah.
How many Hispanics do you see in an all black barbershop?
Yeah, it's true.
How many Hispanics do you see in a nail shop?
Yeah.
How many blacks do you see in a nail shop? Everybody sticks in their unit.
Yeah, exactly.
And reading that podcast, racism isn't just black and white.
And that's where
it isn't, you know?
and I think that's where the media is also twisting it a lot, because I feel like they're really painting racism on white folk to play up a certain card, to start animosity, to maybe drive it with their own secret agenda. But we also all have to be coherent in a sense that we have to understand with freedom of speech comes consequences, and people need to understand too that, you know, the words that you do say may come off a certain way. One person I wanted to mention real quick before we move on to the next subject is Charlemagne. Charlemagne the God gets a lot of slack for a lot of the things he talks about. One thing I was talking to my brother last night about it, and the fact that I feel like sometimes Charlemagne, he may hit things on the nail, but there's times where he comes off where, you know, he may say that he's not racist, but how he comes off is a little uncomfortable, you know, to the point where, like, I'll be the first to tell you, I love the mayonnaise jokes. I think it's hilarious. You know, oh, it smells like a lot of mayonnaise in this topic. Hilarious. I get that. But when you're talking about dropping crack, you know, blah, 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 it gets a little uncomfortable. You know, it's to the point where I have white friends who I can chill with no problem. You know, I've lived with white families at points in time in my life who took me in no problem. You know, who would have probably, you know, took a bullet for me at some point in their lives. You know what I'm saying? To the point to say that every white person's racist would be disrespectful to those people. You know what I'm saying? So it's to the point where then I'm looking at it like, damn, maybe this brother is a little racist. But it's weird because if you check a brother improperly or in the wrong situation, you look less black because you're checking him for being pro-black, I guess. You know, they flip the races. I would say they misconstrued pro-black with sometimes as racism, because you could be pro-black but not hate every white person that you come across.
I agree with
and
you.
I feel like that's where that also causes a problem.
And just to, you know, piggyback off of you, there's this, I was listening to an artist, this I just randomly just listen to artists, and he mentioned something in this verse, and it's America kills the black man, weakens the black woman, and miseducates the children. Yeah. And this is what we're in now. You know, it's kids, me personally, it's how would I feel right now growing up and my pops that's in my life is taken away because some guy didn't like his skin color. Yeah. You know, you go to school and you see somebody with the same skin color that did something to your pops. How do you adjust to that? It's tough. But the schools are not teaching you, hey, you know, be fair, be nice. No, you guys be equal. Yeah. You know, you're talking about fair. It's fair for you, but I'm at a disadvantage. You know? That's true. So
that's true. No, that's interesting, man. And just food for thought, you know, just to kind of spur up a conversation, I do urge you guys to kind of, you know, talk amongst each other. I mean, this shouldn't be a topic that, you know, is kind of like, oh, the elephant in the room. Let's not really address it. It should be one of those things that, like, we need to, you know, discuss this, because part of what Pete was saying, I mean, we're not discussing. We're not dealing with these emotions. We're not dealing with these issues properly. So, you know, food for thought. You know, I urge you guys to talk with your friends. If you guys have different culture, you know, friends in that inner group, talk amongst each other, man, and really just kind of put everything out in the air. And you guys might learn something. That kind of brings us to our next topic, though. Colin Kaepernick and Nike versus the people. You know what I'm saying? So, okay, so everybody knows, or at least a lot of people who have, you know, social media or a smartphone has probably noticed that Nike is endorsing Colin Kaepernick now at this point. It's causing a lot of animosity within a certain circle. Again, I'm not going to say between white folks, because then I'm generalizing, and I don't like to do that. But there's a certain amount of people who don't think that Nike is making a good decision with Colin Kaepernick. Now, how do you feel about this whole situation? Them adopting Nike adopting Colin Kaepernick.
It's what's needed, you know. Kaepernick did this about 2 years ago, a year or two ago. Yeah, a few years back. I feel like it's been a few years back. The man lost his job doing something he didn't feel. Like I said, what's right is right. What's wrong is wrong. Yeah, he knew what was going on in society was wrong. Instead of, you know, going to work like everybody else, you know, just shrug. Oh, well. Yeah. That's basically what America's doing right now. This is what we're doing. Oh, this happened. Oh, well. But you do realize it's going to continue to happen. Yeah, exactly. And, you know, Kaepernick, at first they twisted it. You know, he said what it was for. Yeah. People, you give him an inch, you take a mile. Yeah. You know, Kaepernick, what I like about how he did the protest, he said it, he explained himself, and we haven't heard from Kaepernick in a few years.
Yeah.
The last interview that Kaepernick had was in a football field.
Yeah.
Was prior around the protest. Last year, did you hear from Kaepernick?
No,
if you heard from Kaepernick, it's either a meme or a picture,
like part
or
of the movement
NFL
that
fantasies, or people like that. Hey, well, Kaepernick would be a good quarterback. Well, we'll just get a rookie.
Yeah,
you know, that's what we do best. You know, we see a problem, we feel bad for a second, we shrug it off, go back to work.
Yeah.
How long are you going to continue to do that
and act like people aren't dying?
And act like the same person you were shaking hands with, the same person you were hugging, the same person you were joking is gone.
Yep.
How
how
can you
falls
shrug
in that category?
Yeah.
Who keeps being murdered? You know, it's scary.
And it brings me to the point now, like what Kaepernick is doing, I support it.
Yeah.
I like how he goes about it. He addresses the issue the way it should be addressed.
Now, how do you feel? Because you know, the common thing is that I hear is don't bring politics into sports. How do you feel about that statement? Because I feel like it's kind of contradictory when it comes to the fact that, like, I get, you know, it's a form of entertainment and you don't want to misconstrue it. But at the same time, the players who are in the sport that you enjoy are American at the end of the day. They have rights that you like to throw in their face when someone has a protest saying that, okay, someone died overseas, you know, to protect those rights. So for someone to then express those rights during this form of entertainment, it's like you're now contradicting that, not allowing them to go ahead and use that right. Now, I will say when people say don't do it during the broadcast, I get that. But if you think about it and we break this down, they're technically doing this before the game starts. Mm-hmm. Everybody in America, we're at a point in America where if you don't like them kneeling, use your remote, that universal remote you have probably 2 inches away from your hand. There's a power button. You don't even have to use a power button. You can use the channel up button. Yeah. Change the channel. Change the channel until that quarter starts. If it bothers you that extent. To that point, if you want to ignore the issue to that point, then change the channel until they kick off. But why is something that's actually not even happening during the game, during the actual quarter running, do you have such an issue to the point? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you feel about that? Like, do you feel like, because I feel like this is a very peaceful protest. I think it's very contradictory for people to say that this is very, you know, unpatriotic in a sense, but it's like, how do you then want us to protest? Because remember when people were doing the Black Lives Matter and they were walking down the streets, that was super violent, quote unquote. Mm-hmm. You know, that was very hostile, quote unquote. So you have someone who is just taking a peaceful kneel, not saying anything obscene, you know, not making a scene in which, you know, it's holding up the game itself. It's just an action that he's taking before the game starts. How do you feel, at least when it comes to like comments like that?
Honestly speaking, you brought up something that this is the world we live in. We're in a media frenzy right now. Mm-hmm. Regardless if it happened during the game, after the game, there's players that wear crazy amount of gear that symbolizes something during the game. Mm-hmm. It's not during, it's not after. It's if it's in front of the camera or not. Yeah. The only way those athletes can be heard is in front of the camera. Yeah. No one hears you when you're off the camera. That's true. No one does. They don't pay you they don't pay you attention. Mm-hmm. I mean, the NFL is an industry where it helps people, you know, reach full potential in their life and whatever their goal is. If they want to do such and such and this, whatever their goal and desire is, that's what the NFL is for. Mm-hmm. That's the platform. People use the platform to uplift another man that's going through down times. And unfortunately, we got to put it as it is. It's not a platform that
people can
we're in control of.
Yeah.
The platform that the platform that we're running, we're not in control of. It's like renting an apartment. Yeah. Yeah, I switched the carpets. Yeah, I painted the floor. Yeah, I got new lights. Yeah, I did this.
But it's not your
But
home.
it's not mine. Yeah. If I scratch or crack a window, the landlord can kick me out for anything.
A police officer can come in and kill you.
Yeah, as well.
So, ironically enough.
So. You don't own the NFL. I mean, even the NFL means not for long. The only thing that's going to be long is the GMs and the people that's owning it. Yeah. And they're just going to continue to pass it down to the next person, teach them how to run it. Teach them what you should and should not allow.
Yeah.
Now the NFL, they go back and forth. It's like they bend their own rules.
Yeah.
They bend their own rules. A guy that's doing a peaceful act, trying to better the country, as in some guy that just, domestic violence. We have guys in the NFL.
How they weigh things. It's inconsistent.
It's inconsistent.
That's true.
There's guys that are out there playing right now that will knock your mother, my mother, his sister, any female out that he does not like or does something to them that triggers them.
Yeah.
But I have a guy that's taking a knee off of something that he feels is what's wrong to him.
Exactly.
And
he can't even get a job.
And he can't even get a job in your arena.
That's true.
There's the crazy thing is there's coaches that probably want him, but they can't put that in the media.
Yeah.
The media portrays the butterfly, the goods, the bads, but it doesn't portray the truth all the time. Gotcha. Everything in the media isn't the truth.
Yeah. That's why you have to do your own research.
You have to look into it.
You got to fact check this. I mean, again, this is just food for thought. That's what in the world's here for, where we touch up on topics and we kind of just stir up a conversation. So hopefully at home you guys kind of talk about it and get your own feedback on itself. And if you guys want to drop a comment below, I'm eager to see how you guys feel about this whole situation. So go ahead and drop that comment and let us know how you feel. But with that being said, we're going to actually move on to our next section. It's going to be one-on-one beat sessions. All right, so we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to get right back to you where we can kind of dive a little bit into who Pete is as a person.